Stephanie's forecast looks like there's opportunities to be outside, and this is the optimal time to be outside?
Oh, you know what, Tracy? It's winter. It's not going anywhere.
No.
We obviously know that.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere, okay? So I would just say 2 years ago, I decided that I am going to love winter. I'm going to do everything I can to embrace the season. So what we're talking about today is we can't neglect our health throughout the year. I mean, winter, a lot of people want to just cuddle up and read a book and stay inside, which I will mention that is breeding grounds for the coronavirus. So now it's especially important to get outside. We have some great tips from Dr. Libby Richards. She is from Purdue University. I always enjoy speaking to her, so I'd love for us to take a look at what she had to say.
Let's.
When you put on snowshoes, think like Bigfoot, and you walk at your normal pace, you're burning 35% more calories just because the snowshoes change your gait a little bit. It adds some resistance, but it also helps you walk more steadily in uneven terrain such as snow or ice or trails, for example. So if you want to try something new, I think this is the year that we try out snowshoeing. It couldn't be made any easier for us with the rental programs that are located throughout the state.
There you go. My wife and I bought my father snowshoes for Christmas a few years ago, and my brother immediately sort of commandeered them.
Yeah, cool.
But we need to, I mean, if you're a runner or something and you don't feel like it's as great, there are lots of options. And people and places and parks are bending over backwards to accommodate people to be out.
Absolutely. So a couple of interesting things. We didn't just talk about snowshoeing, of course, and we know we don't get as much snow
we
here.
might,
but we don't know what's going to happen. But there are the state parks. There are other places in which we can exercise. And I'll just say this: you can walk on different terrain. You can walk on a trail, and what happens with that is it changes your stride and your gait. So rather than I'm going to stand up for a second.
Yeah, that's fine.
So rather than walking this way on a sidewalk, when you are on a different terrain, you're going this way.
Well, you're using some different muscles and some, some twitch muscles and things like that. Yes,
absolutely.
If I go to Eagle Creek, and when I go to Eagle Creek and I walk with my family, I strap on my knee brace because that terrain does change.
Whoa.
But it's almost like being on a Bosu ball or something. You're using those little stabilizer muscles that you're not going to be using if you're on a sidewalk or a treadmill.
Exactly. And as Dr. Libby Richards said, you can burn up to 35% more calories by going at the same pace. So one thing, I changed one thing this winter. I walk my dog 2 miles a day. That's all I do. And she said, you don't need to do a lot to maintain your weight, to maintain your health. Everything counts. But she also had a couple of other tips, which we have listed here.
Okay.
So she says that we can do, obviously she talked about snowshoeing, but we can walk for 20 minutes on a different terrain. We can try snow tubing.
Right, some of the artificial snow that's being made, it's still happening.
Exactly, and all of these state parks that we have, we're so fortunate to have that it is possible. And you can rent things. You don't necessarily have to buy them.
I went a couple of winters ago, I went to my childhood sledding hill with my kids. And I couldn't believe how tired I was climbing that thing. And I'm like, I used to do this for hours. I stayed outside all the time, and just like there's lots of ways to have fun. And I think correct me if you think I'm wrong, I think our attitude has a lot to do with it. Don't think of it as a burden or drudgery or an obligation. It's an opportunity, especially with the forecast we just saw.
Right. So we need to rethink the way we do exercise in the winter, and we've got some tips, and I hope that everyone will just have an attitude to just get out there in the winter.
I remember cross-country skiing to and from basketball practice.
Oh, nice.
I used to be in really good shape. No excuse. Winter, and the other thing with winter, because a lot of people don't work out, you can feel good about yourself just for having gotten out and done it, because you're doing something that fewer people are willing to do. So encourage yourself that way, right?
Yeah, it increases your mood. I mean, there's so much great stuff about it.
When I was in really good shape and I was running in winter, I was smug when I was out running. I'm like, I am out in this stuff. I am doing the right thing for me, for my family and everything. So thank you, Mary.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Appreciate it
Thank
as
you.
always. Yeah, all right.